Good evening. I don't know who's on. I'm like, where do I look? I'm not used to having the camera this way. Camera, that way. Got it. How is everybody? How are we doing tonight? It is 9 o'clock, I think, now a little after 9 in Central Time here in Illinois, and I'm doing a live outside tonight, which I don't ever do. But it's been so hot here, and I haven't been outside really at all. Hi, Giancarla. I have been so stuck inside because it's been like 95 degrees here every day lately, and I heard the rumblings of a storm coming through, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go sit outside, and it's lovely, so much so that I was like, oh, I'm gonna jump and do a live with this energy, because I love that feeling right before a storm when like the air has cooled and there's a breeze and you can smell the rain on the air. Oh, it's like amazing right now. So I am out on my porch like I like to be, and I don't know how the lighting will be on your end, but it seems okay, so we're trying it. But what I really want to talk to you tonight about is this idea of being wrong and how we tend to make ourselves wrong. And I just spent, I love that you're in Australia, that's amazing. I just spent the last 3.5 days doing Dr. Dain Heer's Being You Changing the World class online, and I have done a lot of access classes this year and in general over the last few years, and this class was just melty. I don't know how else to describe it. It was just like melted my being. It was amazing. And you know, it's funny when I take a class sometimes I like want to have some like gems out of it to talk online, to talk to you guys about, or to anyone I'm talking about from the class. And you know, I have to re-listen to it all. There was so much. But I pulled out the Being You book, and I do have a class coming up on that in a couple weeks here in Geneva, Illinois. We're going to try to do an in-person class. We'll see if that works. I know that's been challenging lately, but I was like, well, if we wear masks, I just really want to be in person with people. I love being able to like share in communion with other people and, you know, be in the same room together. And I know that that's been, you know, sort of taboo lately, but it's something I so desire. But I pulled open the book and I was like, what is it that of anything that I got out of this class where if I could convey a message? And I think the biggest thing is that we do this thing where we make ourselves wrong all the time. And then we go into this thing of proving that we're right, and we decide that our points of view are right, and so then we have to keep proving that we're right even though we feel wrong. And that's how we end up in these energies of like proving and arguing, and everybody's trying to prove they're right to everybody else, and we're still feeling wrong, and it doesn't work. And it's how we start to cut off our being. And what if we didn't do that? And what if we moved beyond it? Hi, Lindsay. And how can we start to be willing to come out of that wrongness? So I wanted to read this to you from the Being You Changing the World book, and then we'll see what comes up from that. But this is our Being You Changing the World book. You guys, I know I've been reading out of this more lately. I love this book, and I just didn't have it in actual paperback until recently. And I have told every coaching client to read this. I've told half my therapy patients to read this. It is such an amazing book and resource for life and living. I don't know how to emphasize that more than that. So let me read this to you. It says, what if there was nothing wrong with you? Have you ever noticed how it is healing and nurturing to be around little kids? Do you know why? Because you are not being judged. They see you as the being with no point of view. You actually allow yourself to be you with no judgment. Children don't have a point of view of that you should be any different than you are right now. You are not a wrongness in their eyes. How much of your life have you spent believing that you are a wrongness? Okay, this is something I know. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not a wrongness. You are one of the greatest rightnesses the universe has ever seen. We've been taught to create our entire lives through judgment, except those rare moments of space we have in our lives. 99.99999% of your life you're functioning from judgment. Now, the cool thing is that even when you read the above sentence, you go, oh my God, I'm so bad. I'm so wrong for doing that. That, my beautiful friend, is judgment of you, again. If there were nothing wrong with you and nothing to undo, where would you start? Where would you begin? What would you choose? Most of us are trying to undo the wrongness before we even start. We know that there must be some major inherent wrongness in us because we can feel it in our bones. Really, that is all we are sure about. Then you think, if I just get the right relationship, or enough money, or the cutest kids on the planet, then it will stop feeling wrong. But then you get all those things and it still feels wrong. You know why? Because the idea that there is anything wrong with you is a lie. And you can't change a lie into a truth. You can only acknowledge it's a lie and stop buying it. So let's look at what's valuable in this reality for a moment. One of the big things that is really valuable in this reality is judgment. And so that's awareness. As though there's a way of creating something. But every time you judge, you separate from the person or the thing that you're judging. But in order to do that, don't you also have to become separate from you? Everything that you've created and instituted to separate from you by buying the lie that judgment is real and true for you. Will you please destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Thank you. Oh. We do that though, don't we? How many people, how many of you have done that? Have decided that you're wrong? Have spent your whole life believing that you're wrong? And so you keep trying to be right, and you keep trying to undo the wrongness, and keep trying to get it right. Like Dain says, get the right relationship, make the right amount of money, have the right house, the right job, the right car, the right everything. Because maybe if you get all those things, you'll finally get it right. And you'll stop being wrong. And what if that is all a lie? Have you ever had that experience where you finally get all the things? And you get the house, and you get the job, and you get the relationship, and you get all the other things, the dog, and the child, and you still feel wrong? Whether it's for one thing in the one moment, or whether it's because something still just feels off or weird. It's because it's a lie. Because you're not wrong. And this reality teaches us to find our wrongness so that we can fix it. And if we don't have anything wrong with us, then there's nothing to fix and there's nothing to do. So one of the clearings, the main clearing, I suppose, there were lots, from this weekend with Dain's Being You Changing the World was, I wrote it down because I'm like, I'm never going to get this right. See how I make myself wrong? Do we hear it? So he says, what yuck am I inventing to create the human reality I'm choosing? And you'll understand that more if you've taken an access class, I suppose. But if you start looking at that and then we pull up the energy of that, and we use the clearing statement, right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Oh, and we start to let go of that. But it's an invention. All the yuck, all the stuff that isn't working, all the wrongness is an invention that we're using to try to fit into this human reality, that we're using to try to fit into everybody else, to be like everybody else, to keep trying to get it right. But when we get that it's an invention, and we're finally willing to let go of it, so much more is possible. There's so much more space available. The first day I got out of this class, and I didn't know what to do with myself. I think I posted a picture, or maybe it was lunchtime, I don't know. And I couldn't see straight, and I felt like I had so much space, I didn't have anything like to hold on to anymore, which was amazing and terrifying all at the same time. And I came out in my yard and I laid in my grass, and it was like the first time I've ever felt like total and complete space and communion with the earth and all the molecules and all the beings and all of the oneness. And all the ways that we've decided that we have to be right and get it right so that we're not wrong. And all of that just fell away. And obviously I'm still working on it. It's still a thing. But I'm going to keep running this clearing. And I can post it in here if you'd like me to, so you have it as well. But what yuck am I inventing to create the human reality I am choosing? And everything that is, times a godzillion, destroy and uncreate it. Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all nine, shorts, boys, and beyonds. Oh, I spent so much of my life making myself wrong. And you know what's so interesting is I have so many clients I work with and so many people I work with from all walks of life who want me desperately to diagnose them as a psychologist, which is what I do in this reality, right? And I've had more people lately be like, well, you know, I've had all this time to think, and I think I have this disorder, and I think I have this disorder. And what is that? And I've started to ask them, why are you trying to make yourself wrong? Why are you trying to find a disorder? What are you looking for? And what value will it actually be for you to know that there's this wrong with you and that wrong with you? And if it's so you can stop trying to get it right, what if you let go of all of that? And what if your disorders didn't matter? And what if whatever psych diagnosis that you're looking for didn't define you? And some people let go of it, and a lot of people won't. And I found that a lot of people are really determined to keep making themselves wrong and to keep making themselves disordered so that they don't have to actually participate in their lives. Because that way they can keep saying, well, because of this, and it's their reason and justification. But if they were willing, if you were willing, if I was willing, to let go of all the ways we've made ourselves wrong, and all the ways we've decided we have to get it right so we won't be wrong, and all the ways we're trying to decide that there's something wrong with us, so we'll finally have a reason that things haven't worked out in our lives. If we let go of all of that and got that it's just a lie, there's nothing wrong with you, what else would be possible then? Do I still have that page? I want to run that clearly one more time that Dain has. So everything you've created and instituted to separate from you by buying the lie that judgment is real and true for you, will you please destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, pod, poc, all night, shorts, boys, and beyonds. And he says thank you. And I'll say thank you too. So maybe we start looking at this and being willing to let go of all the ways we've made ourselves wrong, and let go of the lie, and let go of the inventions that we're using to try to fit into this human reality. I know that so much more is possible. All right, guys. I think that's all I have tonight. But thank you for joining me in this space. I wish you could smell the air here. This is like so my like happiness in the state of like pre-storm. You know, in all the ways that we try to make ourselves right, there's something to this like chaos of storm and lightning and thunder that I know is about to begin. And I just, what if we could let go of control? I posted that in here a little earlier. Crystal Crawford said, and I can't re-quote it, it's in here, an amazing thing about, you know, what if everything that all of our abilities or possibilities or something is right underneath where we keep trying to have control. So what if we could let go of complete control and relax into our lives and let the possibilities come up as they do. All right, you guys. I swear, I'm leaving. I'll see you later. Bye.